Look, anecdotally, it seems there's also a bit of confusion around these rules when it comes to, other things like, as I mentioned earlier this morning, getting a takeaway coffee, for example. I heard a couple of anecdotal stories over the weekend of people who've been refused service when simply getting a takeaway coffee because they weren't able to show proof of double vaccination. So I thought we might try to clear a little bit of this up this morning. Roma Britnell is the member for the South West Coast and with us to maybe just clarify some of these rules. So Roma Britnell, welcome to you once again.
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, viewers.
Now, can we start with that coffee example, for example, maybe? What's your understanding of things like takeaway? Can a cafe owner, if you're just getting a takeaway, ask you to prove a double vaccination?
Look, this is the problem. We still have a lot of confusion, and it's such a it's a difficult period because the fines are extraordinary for business owners if they get it wrong, over $100,000. And even, I think, the individuals around $10,000. So it's a really challenging time for everyone. But my understanding is that you are able to get takeaway, as you always were, but you are not allowed to dine in unless you show your fully vaccinated certificate status.
Right, okay. Are there other things which are causing confusion as well that you've heard of? Are people sort of asking you questions about, well, can I do this, can I do that?
Oh, absolutely. People are still very confused. There's just been so many changes, so many inconsistencies. And if you've been trying to run a business, it's been really difficult. So people are very anxious to get it right. As I say, the fines are terrifying. And businesses have been struggling for so long. The last thing they need is a fine. And they're being told quite clearly that it will be policed and they will be fined if they don't comply.
With that in mind, I'm curious what you make as well of this culture that seems to be sort of popping up of services that are perhaps, making a point of not asking people for proof of vaccination, or indeed after the news we're going to speak with one of the co-owners of Brightbird Cafe in Warrnambool, and as you're probably aware, they've made the decision to close their business for the moment because I understand they don't agree with the being asked perhaps to or having to ask people to show their vaccination status. I think they're the only cafe I've heard of in our region, but there are plenty of others I understand in Melbourne and elsewhere who are doing this. Do you support people taking that sort of a stand?
Well, look, I think the community have determined that they want to get out of lockdown, and as a result, we have a very clear message from our community. 95% of people have had their first vaccination. So I think overarchingly that sends a very clear message that people want to get through this period and back to normal life. But I also understand that some businesses are very concerned about their role that they're having to play to police this on behalf of the Labor government. And, if you're a business trying to ask people for vaccination status, people have, become very offensive and inappropriate. And for businesses to be subjected to that, that's a really challenging situation for them to be put in. And, of course, the risk of them getting it wrong, they wear that fine of $110,000. So businesses have been through a lot. And for some, this is just too much. So I can understand that challenging time for them. It's terrible for them.
Is there a better way to be doing this, in your view?
Well, I think the thing is there a better way to do this? No, I'm not really sure that there is, actually. I think we do have to, at this point in time, sort of use the double vaccination passport system, but I don't think that this should be ongoing forever, and I don't know that we should be going through mandating non-essential retail into the future. I think the overreach by the government has gone further than it needed to. As a community, right across Victoria, we're showing clear indication that we're cooperating, we're wanting to work to get through this, and so to be on target, for example, at the 80% mark, when Dan Andrews then mandated, certain businesses have to get vaccinated, such as restaurateurs, those sorts of things, I think was a bit of overreach. We were already on target. And to now be talking about the fact that it's going to require non-essential retail to be mandated to be vaccinated, I'm not really sure why when we're already showing that goodwill as a community. Seems like a bit too much overreach to me.
Now, we understand that things will change again come Friday at 6 p.m. when we move to the next stage. What are you expecting that might mean for us and for our region? Do you think there's going to be a queue of cars leaving Melbourne at 6 o'clock on the dot on Friday afternoon?
I'm absolutely convinced there'll be a queue of cars leaving the region at 6 o'clock, which I think will cause absolute mayhem. I'm actually really surprised that he would choose the time of 6 o'clock. I mean, it's a busy time on a Friday night anyway. It's a long weekend in Melbourne, and many people take the Monday off, so they have the, Friday to Tuesday. So I'm just very concerned about the foolishness of saying 6 o'clock, because we know there's already going to be mayhem on that weekend every year without multiplying it, because people have been locked up for 270 days. I just find that an extraordinary, unworkable and almost dangerous ruling.
Do you think it's going to be a welcome thing, though, for the regions? Do you think people around the southwest, for example, will welcome people from Melbourne happily?
Look, I think there'll be a mixed reaction. There's no doubt people are still very concerned about the virus and, the effects of it getting unleashed into the regions and the capacity of the health services. But I think, we have, particularly in the South West Coast, prepared very well in our health services. Our community has got a, high vaccination rate, which has stood us in good stead in the last few weeks, and we've had the odd case here and there. So I'm confident that South West Healthcare, Portland District Health, Strang Mortlake Health, they're all very much equipped to do what they need to. But we will see increased cases. But at the same time, our vaccination status has prepared us for this. So if we don't open up now, when can we? And the businesses like the entertainment industry, the cinemas, the hotels, the accommodation places, they're on their knees, and we need people to come out from the region. So let's remember to be kind, and we are prepared.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see just what it does mean for us this weekend. We'll leave it there. Rainbow Britnell, thanks again for your time this morning.
Thank you, Jeremy. Have a great day.
Indeed, it's Rainbow Britnell there, member for the South West Coast. So I guess there is still a bit of confusion there, as she mentioned, around some of these rules. But certainly, when it comes to that takeaway one, at least it looks like that's something which perhaps cafe owners shouldn't be asking for proof of double vaccination if you are just getting a takeaway coffee. It's interesting that does seem to be happening in some cases.